CQ. Hello, CQ. CQ is the Old Friends Net. Time for the Tuesday edition of the Old Friends Get Together. This is W4MEC, your net control for today. The Old Friends Net meets 3 times a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9, I'll get that right one day, at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 6 p.m. The Old Friends Net is an old-fashioned round table net. I'll take check-ins a couple times through the net there, and everybody gets a seat at the table and gets to make a transmission and pass it on to the next fellow. It's a great place to sell stuff, or if you're looking for something, or a part or something. It's a good place to ask. So, anything else I can think of? No. So, to participate in today's net, please give W4MEC a call. Come now.
Good morning, Charlie. WA4LLR.
N4LQ.
KZ4 Bravo.
W2CQH.
K4JAL. WA4EDK.
W4NKL. W4DCS.
Okay, so far I've got Dave, WA4LLR, Steve, N4LQ, John, KZ4B, Reed, W2CQH, Jimmy, K4JAL, Boone, WA4EDK, Cliff, WB4NKL, and Doug, W4DCS. Who did I miss?
WB4ARK.
Okay, we got Buddy. Anybody else? Okay, one more time. Just make a note who you're going to pass it to. We got LLR, LQ, 4B, CQH, JAL, EVK, NKL, DCS, and ARK. All right, fellas, good morning. It's I can't believe it's 51 degrees. It seems like it's colder out, and severely clear here. And the lunch is not this Thursday, and I don't know how I got on that tangent other than it was brought up on Sunday. And Lee used to always do that. 2 weeks before the lunch, he'd bring it up. So here I am, it was brought up on Sunday, and I said, so go ahead and send out the notice, and it was only a week too early, so sorry about that. I hope everybody got the correction there. Don't show up on Thursday unless you really want to, but you'll be eating alone, or with a lot more strangers. Let's see. I completed my cable, number 6 stranded for my 28 volts, and made absolutely no difference. So, yeah, in the double click issue there. So I am heartily moving along with the AC power supply and pondering what in the world is wrong with this thing. And I'm not sure if there's a possibility the dynamotor is actually bad or something and drawing too much start current or what. But I'm going to have to confer with the great Bunyan King somewhere on Mill Surf and see if anybody's running the same issue or have a solution to it. So anyway, let's get started. Dave, WA4LLR, and the group, W4MEC.
All righty. W4MEC. And the Old Friends, WA4LLR. Good morning to everybody. We've got about 44 degrees. Clear. are mostly clear. A little bit of fog out there. And looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, up to about 69, they're saying. Running the RT-13 this morning and receiving on the R390A. So far, everybody's got really good signals, and looks like the band is in pretty decent shape today. So, let's see here. We'll go ahead and send it on down to Steve. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
All right, Dave, WA4LLR, N4LQ. Well, another birthday over with. Looking forward to another sunny day today, up to about 72. Right now it is 49 degrees and 74 degrees here in the shack, and gradually getting warmer from the 3-500s over here. So I just brought eBay up, and somebody posted a LMAC AF68. Buy it now for $65. It's one of the ugliest things I ever saw. I don't think I've ever seen an uglier LMAC in my life, but there you go. $60 shipping on top of the $65 from Oregon. So over to you, John. You're sounding chipper this morning. KZ4B, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ in the group, KZ4B, fine business, Steve. Happy post-birthday. Yesterday I took my Kona in, my Hyundai car in for 2 recalls, both of which were software, and it seems like, you know, I'm an old school mechanic guy, you know. If you can't touch it, it doesn't exist. But they fixed both problems. And while I was at the dealership, they said that they have discontinued all of the cars like mine, that the ends were made in Namyang, South Korea, which was their center for hot rods, hot cars. And it's like AMG from Mercedes and Denon for BMWs, and they're not bringing them in anymore. That was a raging bargain. And I really hate that. But anyway, and the traffic was insanely heavy. It's every time I go out, I can see a difference, and it always gets worse. And that was on a Monday. Usually it's terrible on Fridays, or most terrible on Fridays. It's terrible every day. But anyway, I digress. And so I will pass it on over. W2CQH in the group, KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, W2CQH. Get it down to 3714. And then move over a bit. On the BC348 and the Trixie ART13. At 54 degrees here, it looks like clear weather. They say we haven't had rain at all in October. Maybe that makes up for the 5 inches of water we got during the hurricane in September. And looking forward to the Lawrenceville, Georgia Hamfest this coming Saturday. And maybe I'll see some of you there. So on to K4JAL, W2CQH.
Jimmy, pick it up.
Oh, okay, K4JAL. Sorry about that, Reed.
Well, I'm in here programming my new Garmin, putting all the maps in it, and I'm not trusting Siri anymore. She's not losing me anymore. I'm going to go straight satellite. That's about all I'm doing. I'm rice boxing this morning over here at my main residence. So that's the way that is. Give it over to the honeyman, Mr. Boone. WA4EVK, K4JAL.
K4JAL in the group, WA4EVK. Hope the signal's showing up this morning. On the rice box myself, Jimmy. Little Yaesu driving a Drake L75. About 52 degrees here. Not too much planned for the day. I have a couple of things to do on the antenna front. My 83C and the end fan has gotten bad enough. I've got to take it down. It's unusual now. And with that, I'm going to send it, I believe it goes to Cliff. WB4NKL, WA4EVK.
WA4EVK, WB4NKL. Good signal, Boone. Got good copy on everybody. I'm still on the DX60, trying it out some for VFO and the amplifier. Norm W7IUC's coming up tomorrow to pick up the VFO and the amplifier. This is still my DX60, so hopefully get him a little better signal on the air. Like I said, 46, 47 degrees here now. Guess I'll get out here and get the regular walk in before too long. And looking forward to Lawrenceville. I've got to take the car up to get it serviced tomorrow, and then after that I'll start packing a few things in for Lawrenceville. So go ahead, Doug, W4DCS, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL in the group, W4DCS, Winston-Salem. And we've got about 50 degrees here, and another nice day. Now, Charlie, I'm glad you solved the mystery on the unknown part, which looked like a resistor, and turns out it was. Who'd have ever figured 1K? That was a good one. Had me going. First I was thinking, well, it's a green blank blue, which, okay, so 5 meg, blue being the multiplier. I had to scratch my. I'm glad you figured that out, though. And I guess you got that meter working. Not much else here. I'm on the DX100 again. It's just the one that hooked up, and I hadn't hooked anything else up. So path of least resistance. Listening on the SDR console, Steve. I'm enjoying that. I love the mute function. Works beautiful. So appreciate the tip on that. So, buddy, here it comes. WB4ARK, W4DCS.
W4DCS, WB4ARK. All right, Doug. Everybody's got a good signal coming into Lake Wylie this morning. We're on the Jerry's ART-13, soon to be Jimmy's unit. And I guess we'll wait one more week. That's not too bad after all these years. So, another nice day here, 46 degrees at 7 o'clock. And perfectly clear. Going to be a very nice day today. So, maybe we'll get our fiber cable buried. They didn't come yesterday. They were supposed to be here, but we'll see what happens today. And how does a green something blue come out to be a 1K resistor? That sounds more like a choke. Anyhow, Well, I guess that's about all for right now. So back to Charlie, W4MEC, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, WB4ARK and group W4MEC. Have any check-ins that would like to join us? I hear Gary in there, K3OS, but very weak. Gary, check everything and try it again.
Yeah, can't figure out why the antenna is not the amp is not cranking up here. Let me work on it, Charlie. I'll be back.
Okay, we'll put you after Buddy on the next go round. So we'll go on here. It's W4MEC and the old friends net. Okay, good round. Let's see. I got a funny GPS story there, Jimmy. Remember the Tom? I still have one of those things. And when it was new, I guess it's one of the first ones. Maybe it came out after Garmin or something, but years ago. And I remember, I think it was North Carolina. I can't remember if it was 105 or 5. Anyway, it's north of Marion going up to Linville Gorge, and you reach the point where it says four-wheel drive only. And we had a microwave site up there and on Dobson Knob, and I took it with me one time to see what it said, and going along there, and all of a sudden it told me to turn right. I'd rather turn left, and there wasn't any road there. So I looked on the map on the TomTom, and sure enough, it showed a road going to the left, but it was not there. And it was actually the one I was supposed to turn left on, but it was still another 2 miles away. So they were still sorting them out back then too. And the other funny thing, I've never seen this before. No one's ever mentioned it, but yeah, I swear it happened. And I was coming from Lee's place going to Carl, W4RCW in Tigerville, and I thought I knew the way. And you know, South Carolina is famous for roads that, well, I don't know how to describe it. You know, they went on a binge, you know, several decades ago to pave every road in the state, you know, regardless of what it was, a dirt road. And I was working my way across that way towards Carl's place, and I had the TomTom going, and it was telling me to turn left and turn right, but I knew where I was going. And I swear on the screen, I can't remember the exact wording now, but it basically said, "I give up, you're on your own." I wish I had a picture or something of that, but it actually put that message out there and gave up trying to tell me how to get there. So it's an interesting little gadget there. Still have it and still works, and I haven't looked to see if I can update it or anything with new maps or anything, but anyway. And yeah, buddy, well, if it was green and blue, it'd be 50 megs, I guess, but it wasn't. And you know, it could have been a choke, to be honest with you, some piece of wire. But I've decided it was basically a short, kind of like an old school or a vintage circuit board fuse or jumper, I guess. But all my experimentation with it, I ended up putting a 132nd amp fuse in its place. That's at 30-something milliamps. And inside that fuse, its glass, was a 150 ohm resistor. That's part of the fuse circuit. So, and the meter works absolutely perfectly now. So happy camper. So, all right. Let's see. At least I got one thing working. Still messing with the other. WA4LLR. Back to you again. W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie. W4MEC. And the group WA4LLR. All right, good round. And glad you got the unit working, whether or not that was a direct replacement. Who knows? But good deal. If it works, hey, that's all that matters. And Jimmy has given up and let Siri be on her own. Oh me, I've heard that from several people. Since I don't have iPhone, I don't have to wrestle with Siri. And Google Maps usually get me there okay. I've never had a bad misdirection. Every once in a while, it'll tell me to take some kind of a roundabout route, but most of the time it's pretty spot on. But there's a lot of tales out there about what happens when following some of those directives. And yeah, I always wanted a GPS that had attitude, that would say, "You idiot, I can't help you." maybe with the progression of AI, we'll have some units with attitude. That could either be good or bad. Anyway, let's see here. Space weather today is pretty active. Sunspot number's 288. Solar flux index is 255, which ought to be pretty good for upper bands. And the K is 2.33. A few items from this day in history. On this day, and of course in 1929, the stock market crashed. Black Friday, or Black Tuesday rather. And on this day in 1998, Hurricane Mitch made landfall in northern Honduras. Took 11,000 lives, one of the worst in history. On this day in 1956, Israel invaded Egypt and the Sinai in a fight for control of the Suez Canal. On this day in 1897, Joseph Goebbels, Minister of Propaganda for the Third Reich, was born. And on this day in 1618, Sir Walter Raleigh was executed for treason. So that's a few things from this day in history. So we'll send it on back down to Steve, and I hope everybody has a great time at the Hamfest there in Lawrenceville. And glad we got the issue of when the luncheon is straightened out. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR, N4LQ. Well, it's real interesting. And I do remember the TomTom. I had one. I ended up in the woods one time. I was programmed to go to Golden Corral down in Orangeburg. And I was within 2 blocks of it, and it told me to make a turn. And I followed this road, and there was nothing on the road, and I went for about 4 miles. And I ended up in the woods on a dead-end road, in the middle of nowhere. So I had to backtrack and find it myself. And I could actually see some lights. I think it took me in behind it or something, but so much for that. That's been a long time ago, back in the early days of GPSing. Glad you like your console there, Doug. And that is, I think the synchronous AM works better on it than the other SDR softwares. And Charlie, I'm really curious as to what that resistor, fusible resistor, is actually supposed to be. And I sort of envisioned a resistor in series with a fuse. And I thought, well, I don't see much point in that. And I thought, well, maybe they got the fuse across the resistor so that if more than the current rating goes through it, the fuse opens up, and then you have a kilo ohm of resistance in series with the circuit. So it will still sort of work, but not completely. But it will protect it. So I really don't know. One guy claims that all it is a metal film resistor, a 1K metal film resistor, and the film acts as a fuse. But I didn't even know they made metal film resistors back in the early 80s. So I don't know what's inside that thing, but I did find some other pictures of it elsewhere. Other than that, I guess we'll see you all at the luncheon Thursday. Not this Thursday, but the next Thursday. And that's actually next week. So over to John with his highly upgraded Kona. And boy, I've got a 2014 Hyundai Santa Fe, and it's had a lot of recalls. I have to give them credit for that. But all the experts say, avoid this car because the engine might blow up on it early. Well, it's only got 29,000 miles. It's 10 years old, so, it should last me another 10 years. KZ4B, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve. N4LQ in the group KZ4B. Fine business. We will not be able to make it to Lawrenceville, which I hate, but that's just the way it is. Too close to the surgery. We're not able to eat heavy-duty stuff like steak, so we're dragging our feet, but we're hoping to be back in action for the luncheon on Thursday after next, where we can devour tons of chicken livers as usual. Shifting gears, Steve, we have a 2019 Santa Fe that we dearly love. It was a steal, and it's got the same engine that's in the little Kona, although it weighs 1,000 pounds more. That's what makes the Kona so swift. Plus, the engine in the Kona's tweaked even more than the one in the Santa Fe, but it's the same displacement. But where I'm going with all this is that they had a problem with the knock sensor, that it was a software problem that would cause the engines to blow up. So the engine in the Santa Fe, the short block, is guaranteed for life. So if there's ever a problem, regardless of mileage or time limit, they will replace the short block free of charge, including the labor to do it. So that's one hell of a warranty. And so I'm not worried about the engine going south. And Hyundai's also had a problem with any car that starts with a key rather than a push button was super easy to steal. And fortunately, our two Hyundais have the push button start. But they're not perfect, but they go to great lengths to atone for their sins, so to speak. Love the products. Shifting gears, Charlie, I may be talking with a severe lack of knowledge, but you had mentioned perhaps a dyno motor or other motor that wasn't starting right. You replaced the cable. I wonder if it's possible that the inrush is messing with the power supply, and where the power supply collapses on the surge from the inrush, in which case I wonder if it's possible, if you had access to a very high perhaps multi-farad capacitor at 28 volts that could handle the surge for starting and solve your problem. So you can probably ignore all that, but that was my guess at a potential solution. So, I've had it enough. Weed, take it away. W2CQH in the group, KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, W2CQH. 13.8. Well, I don't have a GPS or a iPhone. I guess I'm too old for that kind of stuff. GPS-wise, I can still read maps. I can still tell which direction I'm going. Unlike my 7th grandchildren, who I don't think can read maps, they simply blindly follow their GPS machine around, no matter how much it takes them out of the way, presumably to avoid traffic, so the machine says. I was coming home from Dayton with a friend, and he was following his GPS machine, and we somehow got diverted off of I-75 to find a Mexican restaurant and wandered around through Kentucky for a half an hour and never did find the Mexican restaurant. So much for GPS. And K4JAL, W2CQH.
W2CQH, K4JAL. Having a hard time reading you there, Reed. Some station, sideband stations heterodyning in with you pretty strong, giving you a hard time. Yeah, I used to be able to read a map. It's hard to get one, but I ordered me a Rand McNally for backup. Hopefully the roads haven't changed so much. You know, it's hard to sell a map anymore. Oh well. Not much going on here. I'll give it over to Boone again. WA4EVK, K4JAL.
K4JAL in the group, WA4EVK. Well, fine business, Jimmy. I have been thinking about buying one of the Rand McNally Atlases just to have in the pickup just in case, because a lot of things can interfere with GPS. Not as many these days. They've hardened the system pretty good, but the good old solar flare might take them out. I don't know. Lawrenceville is only half hour's additional drive time from here as it would be to Shelby, so I'm going to make that one this year because of the interstate almost all the way there from my QTH, and looking forward to it. Cliff, I'll have that filament power supply for Jimmy's ARC-13 with me. Maybe we can meet up there and do the transfer. If we don't, I'll have it again at the luncheon, but we should be able to get the connection made there and get it to you at Lawrenceville. TomTom GPSs were a little bit unique in a lot of ways. There was one of the things, they actually sold the software later on to go in that GPS that was in that GPS for iPhone, and it was of great value to some people in down around in Texas, but for one reason: it downloaded all the maps for the route you chose automatically. It would go ahead and download them into the iPhone. You could turn the feature off, but if you had an iPhone that could take it, that was great. The reason for that was a lot of spotty cell phone coverage in northeast Texas. The reason everybody liked it, in fact, it was pretty bad cell phone coverage in northeast Texas. And there's nothing as frustrating as being in the middle of northeast Texas on a foggy backwoods road at 2 or 3 in the morning trying to find a drilling rig that you can hear but you cannot see. And you need to get to the rig because you're out troubleshooting and they're waiting on you. TomTom sold a lot of software to people around that area because of that. Before you left cell phone coverage, you'd have all the maps you needed, and your GPS wouldn't go away and hide when you lost cell phone. That was the positive thing. The other thing I suffered through, though, was the strange roads and stuff that were in the database, because I didn't encounter those but once or twice. And with that, I'm going to send it on over to Cliff. WB4NKL to take it. WA4EVK.
WA4EVK, WB4NKL. Okay, Boone. Yeah, I'll look you up down at the Hamfest and get that power supply from you. I've got to make another contact. I've got to get a BC610 transformer delivered down to the Hamfest, but I've got to make a contact to get that done. Let's see. GPS, I use them, but I don't trust them completely. If I'm going on a long trip, I take a look at the route on a map before I leave and see if I agree with the GPS. I remember one time I was at going to the Orlando Hamfest. I was over on the beach with my sister, and I just plugged in the address for the Hamfest, and it says 150 miles. And it had me going way north somewhere, and then the actual trip was about 60 miles. So if I'd followed the GPS that day, I'd been driving a long time. Let's see. I don't have much else. I'm going to go ahead and sign. I'm going to need to get started here. And enjoyed it. Thanks for calling it, Charlie. Go ahead, Doug. W4DCS, WB4NKL.
Yeah, WB4NKL in the group, W4DCS. Okay, Cliff. Yeah, good signals here. Almost everybody. A little trouble with Reed. But, yeah, I think I read a story one time where somebody followed a GPS and it drove them right into a lake. Imagine that. I've had them take me on some interesting side trips when it's set for quickest route. Take you down some dirt roads to save you a couple tenths of a mile. So they can get creative. Anyway, enjoyed it this morning, Charlie. I'll say 73 on this round, and look for you guys down the line. WB4ARK, W4DCS.
W4DCS, WB4ARK. Okay, Doug. Well, let me say thanks, Charlie, for calling the net today. I typically forget to mention that. And what type of device was this that you were working on to replace this mysterious resistor? Just wondering. Let's see what else we got. Well, I've got a KWM2A that's giving me a hard time. It's got various problems. Very new manufacturer, 1974, but it's got some serious issues. Small capacitors bad, resistor, it's just having some problems, so we're still dogging on it. I was thinking there was another comment I had about something but I don't remember what it was. I was thinking so hard on this KWM2, I forgot what it was, and I didn't write it down, so we'll have to let it go for right now. So Jimmy, we'll have to wait until one more week, and then we'll get this ART13 to you, and it seems to be plugging along very well after all of its trials and tribulations. It had mice in it and who knows what all, but it's been all cleared out and restored to nominal conditions in very good shape. So with that, over to Gary. I hope you're up and running. K3OS, WB4 ARK.
Yeah, I think so. WB4 ARK, K3OS. Well, morning, everybody. Would help if I turn the buttons and the switches and understand the auto tuner got confused as to which rig it was on here, so I had to reset it, and that solved the problem. Just a couple quick comments, and we'll swing it around here. On Steve's email last night, just want to let everybody about the Enigma machine. There are free apps for your phone that will do the Enigma encoding and decoding if you don't want to build a box yourself. Might be fun to try someday, and I'm certainly willing to go that route. The other thing about maps, I don't know whether some of you are aware that on Google Maps, if you know you're going into an area, for example, that has poor cell phone coverage, you can actually download the map and run it totally offline. I've had to do that a couple of times when I go up in the mountains where I know the cell's bad. I just figure out the route and say store it offline, and it does a good job of downloading it, and it will update that as necessary. So just something to keep in mind. All right, back to Charlie, W4MEC, K3OS.
Okay, K3OS, much better, in the group W4MEC. Do you have any light check-ins that would like to join us? Come now. Okay, nothing heard. W4MEC, the old friends net. And George, by the way, was on a trip to Pigeon Forge, and I guess he's still over there. That's why he hadn't been checking in. I don't know if he brought his trailer with him or not. Maybe he's just staying in a place, but anyway, that's where he is. Let's see, Cliff and Doug have left us for the next round here. We'll do a 73 round, I think, and then we'll shut her down. What else? That's interesting about the TomTom selling their software. I'd have to, it was a pretty cool little thing, and but like most of you, Google Maps works pretty good, and my wife is the expert with that, and she's the navigator when we're taking a trip, and I just remember I would ridicule it and all that, but we were on a trip to my son when he was living up in Waukegan, and I think I-65 was backed up from the Great Lakes to somewhere in Buenos Aires. It's so bad, and we got off an exit, and she punched in the Google Maps, and then we just followed it. Just wherever it went, we followed it, and it was taking us over to the next interstate over. I don't know what the number, I can't remember the number, 55 or something, over more towards Chicago, and we took every cow trail, dirt road, whatever, roads that had a 90-degree turn around the pasture, on people's farms. I mean, it was a legitimate road with pavement and all that, and most of them had pavement. And we zigzagged from I-65 to that other interstate, and it didn't miss a beat, and it caught us there. And we got on the I-55 and whatever the number was, and headed right up to where we were going. So it paid off well back then on that mess. So, and we got to the point on all those trips where if you get a hint of a backup, we always take the next exit and get off there and and punch it in and see where we're going. But we all, like you mentioned there, we have carried a Rand McNally in our car. Matter of fact, we just brought the latest one here not too long ago to put in the car off of Amazon. And we've always kept a road map of that sort. And you would be amazed at the number of people out there that have no clue how to read a map anymore. And you say, Rand McNally, what's that? You know, so it's quite a few lost folks out there when the GPS quit. So, all right, so let's go through the 73 round here with Dave, WA4LLR, W4MEC.
W4MEC, WA4LLR. Okay, fine business, good copy on all. The one comment I will make is, John, I hope that you're back in shape, that you can consume copious quantities of chicken livers in about a week. And looking forward to seeing Jimmy receive the ART-13 from Buddy. And hope to be there at the Golden Corral a week from Thursday. Don't have a whole lot more here, so I'll say, Charlie, thanks for calling the net. Everybody have a great day. 7-3, God bless, and Lord willing, we'll catch up with you on Thursday. So, N4LQ, WA4LLR, 7-3.
Okay, Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ. And let's see if I can answer Buddy's question. There was a flurry of emails on the old friend's reflector about that's a flute meter that Charlie has. I forgot the model number, but it looks like a resistor, but it has two bands. First one green, and the other one is out toward the end. It's blue. So it was proprietary, fusible resistor. And John, yeah, get ready for the chicken livers. In the meantime, you need to watch the, there's a Saturday Night Live from about 100 years ago, and it was an episode called Pre-Chewed Charlie's, a restaurant where the waiter would pre-chew the food for you. That one was really unforgettable. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming, and we'll be on 160 tonight at 8 p.m. 73s, KZ4B, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ and the group, this is KZ4B. You may hear in the background an alarm going off, a high-pitched alarm, and I can't figure out what it is. So I'm going to cut it short and sign, because you may have trouble copying me, but I'm certainly having, it's loud. So on that note, and with the pre-chew, that sounds pretty disgusting, Steve. Have to check that one out. Thanks for calling the net, Charlie, and we will see you guys at the next opportunity. So Reed, take it away. W2CQH and the group KZ4B clear, but trying to listen. Over.
Reed, W2CQH, you still there? W4MEC. Looks like he bailed, so Jimmy, K4JAL, pick it up.
Okay, K4JAL here. Yes, Reed decided to quit heterodyning. That was a Model 35 I think Charlie had on that fluke. Sounds like a weird problem. I think I've got a fluke, but I believe mine's an 85. I'm not sure. Oh well. I know Boone left, but I want to thank you for providing parts for my power supply, and to Cliff for building the power supply, and for Buddy for reconditioning this wonderful old radio. So I'll say 7-3 and pass it over to Gary. K3OS, K4JAL.
Okay. Yeah, good luck with that, Jimmy. Anyways, I'll say 73. It's a beautiful day here in Hickory, going to get out for my walk a little bit here, like Cliff was going to do the same. So up to you, Charlie. W4, unless I missed somebody. W4MEC K3OS.
No, didn't miss anybody. Other than Buddy. Let's see, Buddy, you bailed, right? Okay, so I think that's everybody. And we'll look for you on Thursday, and not lunch day. Sorry again about that confusion. And y'all have a good rest of the week here. Thanks for checking in the net today. And we'll see you later. W4MEC shutting down the old Friends Net. Bye-bye.